Hey everybody, Bones here, Bones Garage, just bringing the update what's going on at the garage. So, 1972 Chevy Corvette. This is a beautiful car. It just came out of another body shop, and they did some really beautiful work on this car. I mean, they really went above and beyond on this car on the body. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And I can tell you it was not a cheap paint job. It was a very good paint job. But they were not mechanics. They are bodymen. There are a number of issues with the car, but I just want to show you the inside first. I mean, look at how beautiful the inside of this car is. It is absolutely gorgeous. Whoever set all this up really did a very nice job in here. And it is a 4-speed car. And that's one of the first problems that we have with the car. Somebody put 411 gears in the rear differential. Now that's every time the drive shaft spins 4 times, the wheel will spin 1 time. So what that does is it increases your power to your wheels. Now, the problem with that is 4 speeds are a direct drive. So the most you're going to be able to do in this car is about 55 miles an hour, and you're going to be spinning the motor at around 3,300 RPMs. We need an overdrive transmission for this car. So we're probably going to put a nice 5-speed transmission in here. That's problem number 1. The next problem we have, this motor is supposed to be a 430 horsepower motor. Now, when I drove it, I can tell you, it felt more like it was about 190 horsepower. It is just terrible. The bodymen are that. They were bodymen. They tried to set everything up, and they even told the guy who owns it that they couldn't do it, blah, blah, blah. So he is fine with that. He said, no problem, I have a good mechanic, and he brought it to us. So here we are with this car now. A couple of the things that I'm really noticing is we have the wrong carburetor on here. It's too small. So we're going to change that out. We're going to go with a nice 750 Holley carburetor. I'd really like to change out this intake manifold to an air gap manifold. A little bit better flow, but I don't know if we're going to have the hood clearance to fit an air gap manifold on here. I also am going to take off the valve covers and check what do we have under there. The setup under the hood, we're going to change this MSD ignition system. I'm going to use the Bluetooth ignition system that I've been using in everything, because I believe still to this day it is better than the MSD system. I like MSD, they make a good product, but I don't think it's nearly as good as that new system that I've been using on all the cars. So we're going to change that out as well. We do have some exhaust leaks. We have a couple of oil leaks. We have found that the alternator is pumping out way more voltage than it should be. It's pumping out about 17 volts. So more than likely the regulator inside the alternator has gone bad. We also see that they put the AC system in, but they never had all of the brackets powder coated. So we'll probably pull all those, have them powder coated. They used old belts. So we'll replace all the belts, give her a full tune up, and then do a real good go over on this car, because another thing that I found that was not good is back here behind the seat. Somebody put this battery in, and if you look around it, you can see that there's water in there. Well, that's really not water. That's battery acid. When he was driving it on his way over here, the battery bounced up and tipped over. So all the battery acid started coming out from inside the battery and leaking out into everything. So we got to pull the battery out now and really do a good cleaning on it. And you can see that the acid got all back here. So we're going to have to clean all that off. I just got this car in no more than 20 minutes to an hour. So we're going to be doing that. And again, I love this car. This is a really cool car, but we do have a lot of just small issues and running issues. Again, this car is supposed to have 430 horsepower, but I can tell you it feels more like 190 if we're lucky. So we're going to go through everything with the engine and get this thing running correctly. Get all the wiring all nice under here, because if you look down there, you can see all the wiring around the starter. That's really ugly right there. So we'll clean all that up, get it all nice. What would really have been nice is if they would have just done a whole brand new wire harness in here while they had it apart. But they didn't, so we're just going to leave it the way it is and try and get it as good as we possibly can. If you give me a minute, I will bring it up in the air and I'll show you the underside. Hang on, be right back. Alright, so before I bring you under the car, I want to also show you something. This is a nice air cleaner, a nice high flow air cleaner. The problem I have with this air cleaner though, is if you look right here, there's not enough room to get air in there. This car is going to be sucking a lot of air, and this is all the clearance we have to try and get all that air it wants to get in there, and we don't have enough clearance here for all that air to get sucked in properly. The flow of the air also matters. The way the air flows from outside the carburetor to inside the carburetor is huge in these cars. So one of the things we're probably going to do is get rid of this top and use a full air cleaner top, one that has the open air cleaner up here, which will help get a lot more air into the carburetor. This is really, like I said, nice. It's a very good air cleaner, but the big problem is the amount of space between the lower and the upper portions of the air cleaner. It just can't get enough air in to breathe. So there you go for that. The underside of this car, they did a very nice job on it. It's not a show car, but it is very nice. I like that they use the stainless steel lines. It really helps with the braking and the brake pedal. It keeps it a lot stiffer, and there you go, there's the other one. They have the stock brakes, but I have seen a little bit of weepage right here. So what's more than likely happened is the seal that goes here isn't any good. So we're probably going to end up having to take off his calipers and pull them apart and reseal them. Don't know why it's doing it yet. Don't know if they just use the old calipers over, but we'll figure it out once we take it apart. This side you can see is totally dry. Really nice. I'm glad for that. That means we're going to have to bleed the braking system, which kind of blows. But what are you going to do? Another thing I want to fix is if you look right here, it's back out a little bit, you can see that the mount right here is cracked off. So we'll clean that up and re-weld that mount. Over here, it's still good. And this is for your sway bar. This is what holds the car down on the ground. So just clean that all up and just put another nice weld on there, and we should be fine for that. But the underside of the car, like I said, looks really good. We do have some wiring I want to fix up all around this starter and a couple of other areas. This is a really, really old ground wire. I'd like to take it out, clean it up, and put a new ground wire in here and get a better ground setup for up here, because that's just old. It's been there forever. It doesn't look like it's ever been taken off. I also don't like the way this hose is run. It gets way too close to all your steering stuff, and if you look closely, you can see where the steering has been slicing across the fuel line right here. So we'll clean all that up as well, get that the way it's supposed to be. Another thing I really want to do is get rid of this power steering ram. I don't like these at all. They constantly leak. Look at that. This is brand new. This whole system here is all brand new, and it leaks. Look at how much this thing already leaks. It doesn't even have 100 miles on this car, and that is already starting to leak. So I'd like to take all of this out, take the manual steering box out of here, and put a normal power steering box in. And how this works is this actually moves back and forth. So as you turn your wheel back and forth, this will move in and out, and it changes the direction of flow of the power steering fluid. So when you're turning one way, it'll flow through here and push the piston this way. When you're turning the other way, it will flow through here and push the piston that way. And that's how these work. They're very sloppy. They don't feel good. It gives you a very loose feeling on the road. Plus, they leak, they hang down, they're always catching on stuff. It's just a nightmare. So we're going to change all that out. We're going to take out his old steering box right here, and we have to take the headers out, and we're going to put in a different steering box. We have to make sure everything is going to fit. Then we're going to get rid of all this mechanical linkage. We're going to go with a hydraulic clutch, and we're going to get rid of this transmission and go with a nice 5-speed standard transmission. The battery turning over, here you go. Here you can see all the wetness from the battery turning over because nobody clamped it down. So that is going to have to be taken care of. Another complaint he had is it rattles. Makes all kinds of noise when you're going down the road. So we're going to just take the spare tire carrier out because you're really not going to use it in this car. I mean, where the heck, how are you going to fit this tire into that carrier? It just isn't happening. And you can't put a tire that's a different diameter on the back, that with the back being a posi rear, you can't put a different diameter tire on one side than what's on the other. So if this tire is 28 inches in diameter, you can't put a 26 inch on the other side because you'll burn up your differential here. And getting into these differentials is a nightmare. So we'll fix that all up. So there you go, guys. There's the start of what we're going to be doing with this car. She needs a little bit of work, but it's actually a really, really nice car. The guys who did the work on this car, they did a very good job. They knew what they can do, they knew what they couldn't do, and they let the customer know exactly what they could and couldn't do. And now the car is here, and we're going to get everything taken care of for them. All righty, have a good one. I will talk to you soon. Have fun? Okay, bye.